Alright folks, how's it going? Welcome back to an episode of Casting Conflict. Of course, back on the leaderboards here, taking you guys to that quick recap. Of course, last episode we saw a pretty interesting battle between Bolas and Banana. Of course, Bolas not able to pick up the victory, but I think was darn near robbed of it. Should have been his match, but hey, that's neither here nor there. Tweakin', we've got a great one though for today. Of course, that will be the last two players on our board who have yet to play a game, Asteroiy taking on vesaven. How do you feel about that one?
You know, before even looking and discussing the decks, I'm just going to have to give the advantage to vesaven. He's just a more consistent player, more experienced player. He's always in that, top 10 rank, top 10 leaderboards. Asteroiy can pull out some, don't knock off Asteroiy though, just because he's up against a really good player. He can make some really good decks, interesting decks, but, in a 10-game series, I would say vesaven's probably winning 8 or 9 out of the 10.
That's kind of curious, though, because I do have to disagree. I give Asteroiy a bit of the benefit here. I find him a bit more, knowledgeable, a bit more heads up about what's going on the board. And I feel like that experience has put him in a great deal of advantageous position in the past. And I think it's going to give him a great position here going up against vesaven.
All right.
So a little bit of a disagreement, but hey,
yeah,
good friendly competition here.
We can't agree on everything.
That is true. But yeah, looking up at the matchups here, you've got what seems to be a knight deck, looking like Questing Knight, Cleric, Luminaris, Furnace Knight, going up against the Fenrir E-Strike. Now, oh boy, I do like Fenrir E-Strike. That is pretty much, a meme level that I think Asteroiy is willing to take to the highest tier of play here, even with the Spirit Crash. I didn't even notice the Spirit Crash. Holy crap.
Yeah, you got Spirit Crash, and you got the plus 4 attack and first strike that you can put on the Fenrir or any other, just to get that extra damage for Eternal Strike, just to kind of push you over the edge in case you need that extra damage to try to hit Castle. So that's probably what we're going to be looking for Asteroiy. Asteroiy is probably going to be looking to get that Eternal Strike off. Now, if you look at vesaven, that's more of a kind of like a cut dry deck, nothing too special. You got Luminaris, but outside of that, I mean, it's just a pretty standard deck. You're just gonna chop down the castle. You're not gonna look for any, it's not an OTK deck. Just chop until the tree's down.
The best word we could describe it in vesaven's own words, it's not a cute deck. It goes straight to the point, straight to your face, and we'll see if that actually ends up doing well against the Fenrir strategy here. So, Tweakin', how about we get into the matchup, see how match number 1 fares for both these players.
Let's see it. Gonna do a Questing Knight.
Here we go. Okay, so got ourselves a thing. Had a lot of technical issues behind this one, but we are in match number 1. This will hopefully play out here. Got vesaven, Vesa. Jesus, I can't speak. Going out with the question.
Are you lagging?
A little bit.
We're having our own technical issues with our commentators too.
Fucking hell. Listen, it's not my fault, bro. Behind the scenes, this match is incredible to get going. To literally start. Oh,
it was bad. But now we're in.
Yeah, we're missing a turn or two, but I mean, we can't all be professionals here. So we get the mana core out from Asteroiy. Going to see a nice counteract from the blacksmith there. Of course, that's going to lead to a nice takedown of the mana core without losing the knight. That's what we like to see here. And Vesa, I think he's going to start getting right in his element here. He's got things like books, armory, white knight, just a lot of things to stay on top and aggressive against the deck here, which could work out for him. Obviously, the Fenrir is the big card, or the big sort of must pull for Asteroiy. But if he can't get to it, I think Vesa is going to walk through this match pretty simple.
Now the Wraith is a good card to have for Asteroiy, having that 8 health and also that fear to proc to also play a little bit more defensively. That is going to help him, as we see him, he is just bricking left and right. He's going to have to survive at least one turn.
Tweakin', are you in Asteroiy's POV?
I am.
I'm
in
Vesa's. Yeah.
Oh. Ooh.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Asteroids is freezing up for me, so I ended up having to jump into Vases to get ourselves, like, a bit stable on my end. And
Okay.
yeah, I've got perspective on his hand here. Asteroid with the Wraith is pretty interesting. That actually might do some
Yes.
wonders against what we see in Vases' hand here. I mean, we're sitting here with two flying books over on Vases'
Okay.
side of things here, so he's got draw potential. But I opted for the White Knight instead to get a bit more of a big presence on the board here. I don't think we've used coin yet, have we, on Asteroid's side? Are we still
We
having that?
have, we did. We coined into the Manticore, and that was our only move. It was either dissipate the white the knight or to just end our turn. So now we're probably going to follow up with the Wraith here, play more
Seems like the right
defensively
play.
until we can play out our two Shodins in our hand.
Right, right. So, we did pop a Drain Life on our end for turn here. That could be useful, but that might be difficult to say at the moment here. I won't be surprised if maybe we're just going to see a double book pass from Vase on his next turn here to start building a bit more of a bigger hand to combat what we're seeing over on Asteroid's side here. Because, I mean,
Hmm.
his hand is not well equipped to take out big bodies like the Ray. He's got the lifesteal, which is fine, but
Now, now this positioning by the Wraith is a bait for Viseva to come in and do exactly what he did right here. Because next play he's going to play a Rammus plus the first strike +4 to take out. Well, actually, he's going to just use that buff to take out the right knight for free without using any damage. And to top it off, we just topped a dissipate, which we're going to use on the Minotaur as well. So
ooh.
these two moves, and we might even cap it off with a Ramrus too, unless he wants to save that for the Shonen. He's actually going to
Well,
use
Icon.
it.
Yep, I would go Icon here.
He's thinking about hitting the Minotaur right here. I guess he's thinking, having getting rid of that 7/7 and just dealing with that 3 attack is better for the long haul for keeping that Wraith alive. So he's
Technically, it
actually
is
going to
easier than dealing with a
yes.
7/7 body here. So, I mean,
So he's
I
gonna
kind of agree.
dissipate. Yeah, so he's gonna dissipate the knight, play Ramrus, and now we have an 8/8 and or a 4/8, might I say? I forgot about the buff that was only there for one turn.
Buff isn't permanent. We do have ourselves a priest in hand, which I'm curious to see if we might get to use here. We could do something like a White Knight Priest here, mess around with the Wraith a little bit, set it up. We did top a Dragon's Fire for turn as well. That could be really scary here for Asteroid to deal with if he's not careful, if he decides to put a lot more on the board. He's already got the Rammus, which will instantly die to something like a Dragon's Fire here.
Hmm.
Curious to see if Vase is going to take the risk with just both. He's considering a book right about now, and he does go for it. He goes for one of those flying books here that does connect with the Wraith here. Priest might be the follow-up to take out the remaining 4 bits of health here.
And then body block with the blacksmith.
The
Unless
uh,
you have heal, so I guess not. You're not really worried about a 2/3
Nope,
Rammus,
he
but he is
wants him
going
to
to
come
body
in.
block.
Yep. I not really sure about that though, because I mean we do have the Dragon's Fire. I guess it's really more or less a better position to get Blacksmith in,
Hmm.
especially coming up against the Shodan now who hits the board here. That's going to be a little bit of a scary card for Vesa to look at right now. He still has Drain Life and Dragon's Fire, but of course both of those are a bit expensive, and he's only got the 8 gold to work with. I
And you're
wouldn't
only
be
realistically
surprised
killing one.
though if he pulls out the final card that I haven't mentioned to you guys yet on the other side of things, and that's Armory. He is holding one Armory, but did
Ooh.
bring out that second Minotaur out of the top of his deck. He's
I
considering Minnow.
Yeah, I think you need to play Minnow with the Shodan out. I think, it's a little bit risky to play a Dragon's Fire. You're really only killing the Rammus and also uh, the Armory. You don't really have that good of defense for that Shodan, and that Shodan could be a real problem with having Rampage now, and especially with the card that we just drew. But I think he wants to save that card for his next turn. So I think what we're going to see here is another Shodan come out.
Let me guess here. I don't know why I'm stuttering here, but I feel like just by the way you put that, I feel like we're dealing with Asteroid's win con already in hand? Question
We
mark.
we have a dirty turn 9 set up. Unless don't do it, don't be Asher, don't be scared, You're good. Don't do it.
He doesn't know. He doesn't
Don't do
know.
it. He doesn't know, but yeah, you got two of them. And
Oh,
Vesaven
don't
can't take
tell
out
me.
two of them.
Don't tell me we got
He's
I
got two
don't
Shodans.
we got
He's
I
got two Shodans.
don't tell
You
me
don't need.
bro, don't tell me if I can E strike. Do not tell me if I can E strike, bro.
He doesn't have enough for it, but okay, I think he's panicking right now. I think he's gonna just clear the board and play another Shonen. All right, now we're setting up for a turn 9, and I really hope vesaven puts out more than just one unit. Or actually,
Well, he's got a total of
no,
three,
I
but
think vesaven's
uh,
best move here is to just put out one unit and not multiple units because of the rampage effect.
right.
So that way you can only get 2 hits with or one hit with the. It's gonna be an issue.
Well, we're considering a dwarven miner here.
It
Yep, goes
depends
for
on
the miner, goes for the drain
how
life.
nervous the Saban is with this shooting.
He goes for a drain life play here on a dwarven miner. Summons the book as well for turn. Don't tell me we've got the combo tweaking. Don't tell me we've got it.
We have it,
Oh
but we are
no.
banking that it doesn't hit the books
Really? Oh, cause yeah, that would mean that you do
because we
get
have
the
rampage.
right, right. So
Yeah.
could this just be like
If
one big smack your face end the game type play here? I mean,
yes,
he's got to go
yes.
for it. He's got to go for it. Nine, and then yep. Oh,
If it doesn't hit the books, it's
oh.
over. Oh, can't hit castle, but
No, he
you know,
can't. But he retreats it.
it
Show.
was a risk. It was a yeah.
Oh no.
It
Oh
was a risk.
no.
He had the win column there. It was a 50, and thankfully for Vesaven, he high rolled right there.
I mean, yes and no, realistically. I mean, you had to put out an armory. I bet you right now this armory is not surviving. We'll do a little bit of chop with the Shoten here. Shoten, you gotta go for the armory. Yep, okay.
Hmm
Our only... Oh, that's not good. Oh, that is not good for what we have in our hand. Okay, that's a little bit better. We just gotta figure
Did
out
you
how we
pick up a
want to
drain life
play this.
or
No.
an arb?
He picked up a priest, which he's
A
considering to
priest.
play. The priest can do a little bit here. It can clear out the Shoten and give the White Knight more room to play defense with the second armory that we already had. So kind of just holding out
Okay.
from the Griffin, unless Asteroiy pulls something like a Dissipate or another big E strike that can kind of just clear this board and be dirty with it. Koro and Badger coming out, that's fine. You do know what our last card in hand is. Technically, I've already told you, but let's see if you can remember. I assume you
Yeah.
do.
I mean, what are you hoping for saving right now? Are you hoping for?
God,
I guess
Luminaris
you're.
probably, but
Man, a Craxus
maybe, but not
maybe
not even. I mean, the problem right now that
or
he's dealing with is that these are all big bodies that he can't
Luminars would
deal
be.
with. Okay, yeah, pops the Dragon's Fire. So Koru is
I would
there.
hope that yes, but but realistically, you're not worried about. I mean, they each have 5 attack, but you want to go after their. Okay, there we go.
I think you're a bit on the delay tweaking. Hopefully that's not too much of an issue here. What does Asteroiy got for us? The
Not too
5/1
bad, yeah.
face. Oh man, this is a nasty deck. Just focused on big stat lines to really just be oppressive to the opponent.
Yeah. And then you just know that like that eternal strike is just lurking somewhere. And let's not forget with that he has Spirit Crash as well in this deck.
Oh, word. You can just float in the Wraith and pop the remaining 8
Right.
or
Right.
7.
So there's a lot of win columns that, Asteroid can fall in.
Word, word. Oh, and there's the Badger, thanks to the Flame Shield. We did. Oh,
Did he
ooh.
top deck a Dragon's Fire? Or
I
an
don't know
Arb?
I don't know how I feel about this, but he did top deck the big old Craxus.
Yeah,
I
but now you're dealing with 2 flying units that can fly over both these units
and he
because you
has to
have
deal
to
with the
take out
Badger
the
below.
Balance.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
yeah.
unless he can spawn block or
Nope,
get a priest,
there's the
nope.
surrender. He can't deal with it. So Asteroid does pick up game number 1 very convincingly. Of course, the E Strike showed in the dangerous sort of combination in the deck. Hopefully, Vesa will find a way to overcome this. But let's go ahead and take you guys to the post match here because there are a couple things we can deconstruct from this matchup. All right, folks, I'm back after game number one. Asteroiy did pick up the win over Vesa in quite an interesting match. Of a little technically unsound on our end, but we were just able to catch the majority of the matchup. Nothing really too much, I think, that we missed in the first turn or two. But overall, a strong performance from Asteroiy, and certainly one that I did not expect his deck to take over in the first game. But Tweakin, how you feeling about this?
I was surprised, to say the least. I was surprised about how dominant Asteroiy was with this deck. Just looking at the deck, it's just
I think what
it's
really comes into
weird.
play though is like those minor spells, dissipate and Icon putting in so much work when people least expect it.
Right. And literally just stopping all momentum. And especially when you have like Knight of Flowers, having to, reawaken another turn and having those spell cards, Flame Shield, Drain Life, pretty much negated. That basically takes out 9 cards out of his savings deck that he can't use, or that can be instantly taken away. And it's extremely annoying to waste Drain Life and then not even get a hit on castle or any use out of it. It's extremely annoying.
Right, right. So I mean, overall, I just think the way that Asher performed too, just knowing when to hold off on certain cards, knowing when to pull the trigger, I think worked wonders for him and definitely helped him gain the slight advantage over Vesa in this matchup. But with that being said, we do have another match to get to. Of course, game number 2. Vesa gets the counter pick option. Let's see what he brings. But Tweakin, you ready to go for this one?
Let's see it. Let's see if it's even can pull one back.
All right, I have faith in him. But let's go ahead and see for ourselves. All right, guys, and welcome back. Match number 2. Tweakin decided to join me in Vesa's perspective. But, of course, we're back. Asteroiy rocking the same thing as last match. Vesa on the green-white.
I'm assuming he's trying to get as many bodies on the board as possible with the rat hovel.
I mean, let's
So
let's
it
be
kind of
honest, bro. This is where Vesa shines. This is his mid-range heaven.
yeah.
Things like Griffin, we're looking Witch, Captain. This is just where he shines. So going back to the comfort, never a bad thing to do, especially in these scenarios where you've got nothing else to really lose. We'll
And having that
see.
rat hovel out is going to negate some of that RNG on the Eternal Strike. So and especially getting it out early, that's going to be wonders for Vesaven.
Word, word. Asteroiy opting to not take the point of damage just yet, which is fine, I guess. I guess makes no difference, but you do lose out on just a little bit of damage in a format where, excuse me, in a scenario where, no one's got healing on either side of the fence. So a bit peculiar, but
If I'm Vesaven, I'm assuming that the way that Asteroid is just roaming this lumberjack, that he is bricking on cards right now.
probably. But that also means, why not just push in the lumberjack for a little bit of extra draw? I guess you really just don't want to lose the lumber if it's your only unit till what, turn
Yeah,
4,
you
turn
want to
5?
yeah, you want to trade that lumber on your terms if you are losing, if you don't have a lot of units. Um, because like you can save that for a body block. Like right now, he can body block, and that lumberjack literally survived with 1 health for 3, 4 turns. Uh,
I gotcha. I gotcha.
so depending on what Asteroid plays now, I would either debate for Vesaven's next turn, throwing out the Griffin, getting that huge
Potentially.
body out early.
Yeah, I would say if we put the Griffin down, that leaves him in a terrible.
Oh,
Oh my
oh,
God.
I'm 100% putting the Griffin down now.
Oh, for sure, bro. I
100%.
that's
Or
an ooh do it.
you could do Armory and Elvish Deep, but I think Griffin, having that 5/8 come out and then putting the
Supported
Armory on,
supported
or
by
the
the rats.
Serpent,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
I think this is the move.
I think we might see a turn 5 elf. Ooh,
Oh,
ooh. We had the
ooh, I
dissipate.
completely forgot about the Dissipate. And that saved them, but now
I mean,
an
you
Armory
could run Armory
or
Lumberjack
Blacksmith?
and push down a bunch of 2/2 bodies. Can you
Yeah,
not?
yeah, but I think I think yeah, he's gonna go for the Blacksmith instead. Hold on to that Armory, and it's right now it's just rush. We're trying to get Asteroid, hot on his heels. That Wraith is going to come out a little bit more defensively. Try to, keep it survive. A Bestial Rage as well.
That means it just hits
Uh,
another rat to block castle, I assume. A little bit of stream delay here, but yeah. Oh, and did not move. Huh. Okay.
think, I think Armory Lumberjack.
I would, yeah, I would say kind of keep the small bodies going here,
Right.
unless you're really concerned about. No, don't trade with the wraith. Don't. Oh no.
He was he was petrified of that Wraith.
I
Now
I assume so, probably because if you look at the gold count, we're now in E-strike range, so maybe there's a fear from Vase on some kind of E-strike shenanigan here, and if, he's looking
with
around,
Bestial Rage, yeah.
yeah, he just wants to shut that possibility right down. And like Ike and Badger, yeah, you could tell Asteroiy was probably maybe banking on that kind of play to come out. So now I assume we're probably going to see Armory come down, followed by the Serpent Witch to kind of put more pressure on, get a Lumberjack and Rat trade to the
Hmm.
Badger, go ahead and, just put the Witch down to just be more of a nuisance. And then, yeah, put it right back in Asteroid's hands. He's clearly not doing anything. He's wasting about 2 cards a turn, doing absolutely nothing, and this might not be his game.
Right. I think Vesaven has a better game plan about how to counter Asteroid's deck. He's focusing more on eliminating the units rather than focusing on the castle because he knows that okay, so now he knows that E Strike is in the deck
Well, he's got
probably in his
Centaur.
hand.
That's nothing for him, bro. The Centaur is already powered
That
up to
is.
5 attack. That's
And we're about to
that's
see it, and I wouldn't be shocked. Yeah, here we go. We're gonna take that unit out. I think this is how you beat the save Asteroid stack. It's just clear all the units out as fast as you can, and don't let Asteroid have that opportunity to play the E strike.
You need the
Because it's
oppressive control. You need the oppressive
yes,
control here. Don't let him breathe. And that's really the point that he's going to end up failing. And that's why I'm kind of nervous for him for the rest of this CC, because a lot of decks can do that pretty easily. They could always just put down the beatdown pressure. Like, spawners from Death's Advocate, I'm thinking right now, that could do him some harm. Uh, Maybe the rat stuff from Allen could do some damage as well. And yeah, that's
hmm
game. That is game.
yeah.
So,
So
I heard the defeat from
yeah,
Asteroid
so
scream.
it did like in our early prediction, having that, kind of weird out of left field deck, it did take Vesaven for a bit of a surprise. But then it was easily countered. Vesaven with his experience, uh, figured out. Yeah, as we can see on the screen, Asteroid didn't have the best of cards, but Vesaven had a better game plan for game two. He knew what he needed to do, and he executed it to perfection.
Right.
Just having that Eternal Strike, being 7 cost cards, 7 costs, he
Well,
knows that.
tweak it. How about this? Let's go ahead and explain it more in the post match
Oh,
because we got a bit of that to do. So for
you're right.
now, let's take him to the post match and do a bit more there and give you guys a bit more detail on how that went down. All right, folks, and match number 2, of course, concludes. And hey, Vesaven taking away a win here for game number 2. Good to see him back on his winning ways here. And of course, going back to what he loves, the good old comfort mid-range, never does him. No, never fails him. English is
There we
hard.
go.
I know. I appreciate that. But we have to mention, I think Vasa's screen mentioned, or he did mention to us that the preview was a little bit cut off here. He does also have 2 Krakens lurking in the back here. So a lot of interesting options from Vasa, but ones that I'm not really surprised at. And yeah, we just saw pretty much what's going to beat Asteroid's deck for the rest of the season. Just in your face, rats.
Hmm.
If you just get up in his business and be really oppressive with a control style, his deck really just falls apart at the seams here.
Right, right. I think, it's a little early to make predictions on how to counter people's decks. We only seen one game so far, but I want to say an early way to beat Asteroid is just a swarm decks, having lots of units on its face so that those dissipates. The Eternal Strikes has more options to have to deal with rather than having just one massive unit out on the board where they can easily take it out with a dissipate or easily take it out with the Eternal Strike. Just giving Asteroid more units to deal with is going to put him kind of in a more stressful spot. And this is the Vesaven that we all know and love. It's just he finally found his comfort zone, and he was finally, putting pressure on Asteroiy where he didn't have that in the first game. So, this was pretty much cut and dry. It was pretty a dominant performance by vesaven. Not much to it. So, do you want to see? I know I'm taking your spot and I'm taking your line, but do you want to see how the third game goes and see if vesaven can
Yes,
keep
yes.
the ball rolling?
Unfortunately, going back to that same deck, he was unsuccessful with the match one. But let's see if he can reel it back, man. I have faith in him, I really do. And hopefully, now that he's hit this win, he can start building up his confidence to do well in game number 3. So let's certainly hop into it, Tweak. And I agree with you. Let's just go ahead and jump into it. All right, folks, jumping back into match number 3 now. And that was a quick sort of mulligan, if you ask me.
Is Asteroiy running the same deck?
No, yeah, yeah. Oh, actually, yeah, I think he is. I think he is. So, Astro running back the same thing here. Vesa bringing back, of course, the red-yellow as per the format rules. I can't speak. And already off to a strong start is Asteroiy. Masuda into the Manticore here. And forcing Vesa to probably go, assume, Cleric turn 3, right? Yeah, there he is.
Yeah.
Show us the big boy. We want the Cleric to hopefully hit... I don't know how I feel about that, because, I mean, that's a good Flamestorm hit for everything, but... Oh, okay.
Yeah, but now back to square one. But I mean, at least you take out the mana core, so they don't have to deal with any funny business. You could flamestorm, you could Knight of Flower. I don't want to see a blue firebolt come out. I think there's better options for it than a
And there it
Masuda, and
goes.
there it goes. Who am I to judge? I'm a commentator.
Oh,
Who am I to judge?
and a pass from Asteroiy, though.
In a pass.
That's going to be a
So
great setup here for the Knight of Flowers, turn 5. Yeah, I would say Knight. Knight over
yeah,
books here to
Knight of
get extra
Flowers
beef.
into an armory probably, unless Asteroiy has something funny.
I
Maybe a
mean,
dissipate.
turn 6, I'm thinking maybe Flame Book, depending on what comes out. Right? Right? Come on. Come
Yeah,
on.
yeah, it depends on, but like we already know that, Asteroiy, a lot of his units are kind of towards the mid game. You got Badger, Kuru, uh, you know, Wraith, all have high health, high damage, so Flamestorm is kind of iffy unless he plays like, double Masuda. But
Mm-hmm.
even then, yeah,
Dire
here comes the
Badger.
Badger.
Okay, yeah,
You
and kept
could flame,
away.
yeah, yeah. So,
Ooh, Drain Life, an interesting
ooh,
pickup.
I'd rather play the Armory down and save the drain life, or maybe like a
Uh,
Craxus. But
uh,
you could, but I could understand a drain life. You get that extra buff and 2 damage on castle,
well, because I
but
mean,
he's gonna play it on the Badger.
the thing that worries me, especially with Asteroid's deck, is that he can whip out something like an Icon, right? And that's just a hefty amount of damage going down. So if you play something like an Armory and maybe keeping it back, maybe that would be fine. But I don't agree with just going an Armory and then putting the Knight into Castle, especially since Asteroid's deck is full of little niche spells like Icon,
Dissipate.
Dissipate. Things that could do some dirty things here. I don't know if he did play the Dissipate here because I'm getting a little bit of stream delay.
Yeah, I'm getting stream delay as well. So we're gonna have to kind of figure out what happened.
Or that could
I
be
can only
actually. Oh, no, there we
assume.
go. We got it. We got it.
Yeah.
Rammers.
Okay. He was
Okay.
just taking his time. He was just taking his time.
Well, no, I think we just caught up the moment Rammers was playing. That goes to show you that Asteroid and the Streamlag are literally on the same level.
I think that is enough to take out the Knight of Flowers if he trades both in.
No, he just needs
Or
the
never mind.
Badger. The
Yeah, you
Badger
just
gets a
need the
2-2
Badger. The Badger's at
buff.
two
Yep.
two. That's right.
So now we do deal with the Rammers here. We could do a book armory setup, which I think is definitely going to be the way to go here.
Hmm.
I would even allow the Rammers to come in, honestly. I would opt to protect your draw more so than worrying about the damage. But of course, Basic completely ignores me and blocks for face.
Yeah. Vesaven really needs this book to survive.
I technically
Dissipate's
did.
not the
It
worst,
technically
but
survived.
but seeing the Kuru out, you're not gonna enjoy that. I think I mean, do you risk it the double flame storm just to get that eternal strike value gone?
uh,
Because it's lurking. It's lurking, and you can't afford. So he's gonna get one. He's gonna figure out where that is, probably right
yeah,
there. Gonna have to do it again. You lose the armory, but
it's better than having a 10 attack Kuru come in and say, haha, game's over.
yeah, yeah.
So,
This is where, if this is where Asteroid deck kind of, has the advantage. Having those high health units and, Vesaven only having the books and, two Dragonfire and a blue Firebolt doesn't really have that much options. He does have 9 damage, in his hand right now. So he can take out, a Fenrir, a Wraith, but that's
well,
basically his turn, and he's back to square one.
yeah, I mean, the nice thing about Vase's hand here in this scenario is that you do have a lot of huge equalizers in hand, like the massive burns from Dragon's Fire and Bolt to just slow the game down a bit and hopefully have Asteroiy expend all of his resources. But still, like
Hmm.
he's not in a great position to even get or establish a board presence of his own here. You see, he had to waste about 9 gold just for that board clear, and it's sitting with knight and books in hand, which I think he definitely wanted to get the books out to start replenishing that hand a bit.
Yeah.
But we just didn't see it because he's got no gold for it.
And this is scary. Like even having units on deck doesn't mean you're safe with, the Eternal Strike lurking. Minotaur is good, but is it going to last? Is it going to last with Dissipate, Eternal Strike, uh the first strike card?
But like, what else can you do when you're in this
Yeah.
position here? I definitely think that Vesa had to push a little bit too far to protect himself from the Koru, and even throughout the game, I don't feel like he was in the strongest position here. And it's a good choice on Asteroids in terms of his deck here. He knew that Evase was going to be running the red yellow again. He had to, so it
Hmm.
felt like the purple white was just dominant against it, and we're seeing it again here. So there is a
There
dissipate
goes the
against the
Dissipate.
Minotaur. No E strike. We did go for an
No E strike
attack,
yet.
but we did cut off our draw, which is not the best thing to see
Yikes.
at all. Griffin, Lumberjack, the follow up. Yeah, I'm not
I'm not
happy
liking
if
it for yeah, I'm not liking it for saving right now. Even with a burn draw, he's not going to be able to take out any of these units.
yeah, Minotaur,
Minotaur,
he's
not
gonna
a
have to play it
flower.
again. Yeah. Has to play those two again just to reassess himself a bit here. And of course going for the double lion here just to protect himself from any sort of Griffin flying shenanigans. He will give Lumberjack draw to Asteroiy if he wants it, which he does take. So that kind of does tell me though Asteroiy might be fishing for something if he doesn't go for a play immediately. Unless he just
Hmm.
wants to reassess his options. He might have a play, but of course Lumberjaw always helps to expand those options.
I mean, right now you got to give the clear advantage to Asteroid right
Oh
now.
yeah. Oh yeah.
We're
Maybe when it comes to sudden death, if we hold out that long, but I don't predict that Asteroid will let him live that long.
right now with the Manticore out. It's yikes.
Yeah, so that's gonna interact with the knight there. The griffin comes in. If the griffin does any sort of wait, no, the griffin can hit
Yeah,
castle.
he can fly in.
Oh no. If there's an E strike in deck, this could be it.
It could be game.
Oh shit. There's a timer. I hear it on
But
Asteroid's side.
Asteroid's thinking if he doesn't end the game here, there's a good chance that Asteroid's sitting on a
Oh, there's a
on an arb and it could end it his own. But
Shoden.
now with that showed in the back, it's looking like this is game over.
Nah,
Not necessarily. He can trade. You do Minotaur top Shodan, and then
Minotaur.
new Minotaur Flame Shield, take out the Griffin, and then you're dealing with the Shodan left at full health.
Oh yeah, Griffin, Minotaur
Yeah.
Flame Shield. Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I should probably use Dragon's Fire here, but no, you're right. You're right. My bad. So trying to put him. I mean, even though an E strike ends it here for Asteroid, because all he needs to do is just attack the Minotaur, it dies, and then 2 rounds of 5 damage go over to the. Oh no,
Right.
another mana
Yeah.
core, keeping
Yikes.
Shodan alive. Oh.
And let's see. That keeps him alive. No, it doesn't. That's game. That's game because he has to. This is.
Frog Prince goes to block. I mean, he's got the resolve.
He's got the resolves. Unless Dissipate ends it, Eternal Strike ends it,
So many options in the
Manticore ends
Astro's
it.
deck. No, we've seen 2 mana cores, right? It was a 3 or 2 in his deck.
I would assume that it's three. Manticore is
Just for
such a
his
good.
pure jank.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we're not seeing plays happen immediately, so Asteroid not having the answer, it looks like. And what does he do in this scenario? He has to give the Fenrir to the Frog Prince. Shonen going into it. We might have a chance here.
Spirit Crash for the
Please don't
one
tell me,
damage.
bro. Spirit Crash my ass, bro.
Oh
Oh,
gosh,
we got a fat Dragon's Fire lined up, though.
we do. And we can flying books on top of it. That seems to be the play here.
Yeah, it has to be. I think what Vase is holding out for
Ah,
is... What else is he going to do,
but that
though?
2 damage is going to go on Castle. He's going to go down to. He
He
needs
needs Arbiter. He
to.
needs Arbiter. That's the plain and simple. Don't... Why did you Flame Storm?
Uh,
Oh my god, Vesa. Ay.
David, he decided to fall on his own sword. Didn't want to risk it, but
It
I
kind of
feel
it,
like
it kind of begs the question here, could Vesa have topped the Arbiter to win him the game? I guess
he
maybe.
only had one copy though. He
I
only had one
guess.
copy.
Yeah, I guess. I don't exactly agree with it, but hey, to each his own. And hey, look, Discord stuff is showing up, so I'm going to go ahead and move over to the post match. All right, folks, in game number 3, wrapping up here in the series, of course, going to Asteroiy, who pretty much put on a repeat dominance performance like he did in match number 1, really pulling out a lot of the same stops that I think won him the first game. And unfortunately,
Hmm.
I just think Vase's deck was not able to keep up as well as it probably could have. Things like Flying Book's draw not being seen, things like Flamestorm backfiring more than they should, and ultimately, Vase taking himself out in the last game, just kind of the nail in the coffin, him knowing that at this point it was not going to be winnable here with so many minor spells that could just change the whole game. Things like maybe an E-Strike or Anticipate that could just end Vase's castle. But yeah, again, another repeat dominant performance from Asteroiy.
Yeah, I was surprised and not surprised. I was not surprised that Asteroiy picked the same deck that he pretty much mopped the floor with vesaven the first game, but I was surprised that it was literally the exact same match basically. Well, at least Asteroiy just having just dominant board presence and just being able to dictate what's going to happen and when it's going to happen. Vesaven was having to fight with his back against the wall the entire match. There was never a point in time where I was confident in Vesaven. Maybe when the Frog Prince is out, he could have stalled for a little bit, but we saw with the Manic, we saw with the what was it? The Manicore, right?
Yeah, Manticore
That
putting in a
came
lot of
out.
work this game, pretty much
Just
shielding Shoden from all the big Minotaur smacks that would have kind of evened things out. But yeah, Manticore Spirit Link putting in just the absolute nut amount of work here.
I did not give Asteroiy the amount the credit that he was due with this deck. I didn't think this deck was just looking at it. I didn't think this deck was going to match up well. But I was surprised to say the least. It put on a dominant performance, and probably out of all the matches that I've commentated on and seen, this was probably the most dominant performance from a single deck so far in this series.
Right. Well,
I mean, it
partly,
was
I
the
do
most
think
dominant.
unfortunately, I do have to disagree with that. You were not there for the Ooge performance, but I think Asteroiy versus Ooge is definitely going to be a match that I'd be looking out for at this point in time in the future. I don't know if it's going to happen in February, but definitely down the line, Asteroiy and Ooge are going to go at it, and these guys are already kind of declaring themselves at the very top of the pack here. So I am very curious. I mean, Asteroiy technically going to be behind Ooge because Ooge did sweep in a 2-0 victory, unlike Asteroiy who did drop a game here. But still, I think those two are going to have a match that I'm really going to enjoy looking at down the line, and I'm really looking forward to it. But overall, yeah, just a dominant performance from Asteroiy, and reaffirming my belief that he is probably one of the current best players. Maybe not as active as some of the other ones, but definitely one of the
Hmm.
better of the, collection that we've got here.
Right. He's definitely, got to keep an eye out. He is definitely probably, if not going to be at that top 2 spots come mid-season when we take a look at the leaderboard and kind of predict who is going to make the playoffs and who is probably fighting for their lives to get to those bottom spots.
Right. So with that being said, folks, we do have to go ahead and get to the players here. We do want to get a few words in from seeing how they did in their matchups. So let's go ahead and take you to that right now. Alright, folks, and back after that 3-match series here. Asteroiy coming out on top with the Fenrir memes. Asteroiy, I feel like you have some explaining to do. So,
Do I?
do, I don't know, man. Like, do you want to explain the gimmick you've given yourself to this whole thing? Given? Bleh.
I
Gave?
am here to crash the conflict.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. That is his mo. So I don't know. I guess my only question for you, because I mean the matches went pretty straightforward. You know, we saw when the deck succeeded, we saw when the deck failed. But my big question for you is what motivated you to make the Fenrir E-Strike choice?
I just like Fenrir in ninjas, and there's always been this really funny meme with hidden intent where you flip his attack 30 health and then spirit crash. And so that inspired me to come and crash the conflict with some moves.
Wow, that is painful. I hope you never win another series, but on the other side of things, though, Vesa unfortunately not picking up the win here, but you did play pretty well. Match number 2 was pretty dominant for you. I mean, you're not feeling too good, I assume. I mean, maybe from early in the day, but now definitely maybe not as much. How are you feeling right now?
Yeah, well, I'm feeling great, Red. The Chiefs have advanced to the Super Bowl for the second year in a row, and that's what I'm mainly happy about. I would have liked to have struck a win here against Asteroi's meme deck, but at the end of the day, he was the better player, and he deserves the win that he got by playing well and just being a better player.
Right, right. Well, I mean, Tweak, I'm gonna be honest. I didn't have much to say over this match, but do you got anything, brother?
No, the only thing I have is Ashford. Did you think that deck was going to be as good as you did in the matches?
So this deck is a bit of a pet of mine, so it's definitely not something that's new to me, and I definitely know its strengths and weaknesses well. And so I knew going into this match that I actually had a ever so slight edge.
Okay.
And
Okay.
so I was really pushing for it.
All right.
Until the
So that was my
3v
question. Like,
rages
did you
bring in
think,
the hand.
like, the way that you dominated the games against Vesaven's featured deck? My question was, did you expect that to happen, or was that kind of like oh wow, like this deck is actually like really good?
I wasn't expecting that much pressure coming down. Didn't feel like he ever got like the right pressure card in response, other than like one or two times where like he got a Frog Prince, and
Right.
then the other time when he got Craxus, but a little late.
Right.
Those are like the big pressure cards that I was scared of, and they didn't really make it impact.
Yeah. Till the game was pretty much already set in stone. So Vesaven was pretty much playing with his back against the wall the entire match. But yeah, that was my only question. Great games from both players to see how they play in the later of the season.
Right,
Yeah,
and of
good
course,
news, Jason.
this ends our January set of matches. Let's go ahead and take you guys to the leaderboard to show you guys how this match affects our standings for the end of January.